And here we go again. This morning I'd like to take a look at a bit of calculations that we can do in various spreadsheets. If I open up LibreOffice, which is the thing, and we can select Calc Spreadsheet and the first tab there. Very daunting if you've never used a spreadsheet before, but it's very handy once you've got to grips with it. Now today I hope to just run through the very basics of the spreadsheets and one or two simple calculations you can do with the columns that you create. This isn't complicated at all. If you do want complicated stuff, then you can run a few tutorials and go on the web on YouTube or whatever and check out what's available. But it is quite simple to do the basic stuff, and what I've decided to do today is get together a shopping list. Just work on some of the columns that you need to set up to get the information that you want, just to save a bit of time, which I shall just paste in now. And it's basically a shopping list of some of the stuff that you may get. In the spreadsheet I need to set up one or two things. If we just click on the columns and right click on the column again, we need to format the cells so as the computer will understand what's going on. And in this particular cell it's dead easy because it's straightforward text, whatever language you are typing in. I've got default as English UK in here, so that's good. The second column is, and it's actually designated as currency, which we shall go in, and as you can see we click on the currency. I've already selected Great British Pounds for my country. This can be American dollars, it can be Australian dollars, Canadian dollars, New Zealand whatever's, all the way through to euros in Europe and what have you. So select whichever is your country's currency. You need to set the decimal places, so we'll set that up as currency, and we'll set the decimal places to 2, so we have one whole unit, which would be the pound, and then the decimal currency, which will be the pence, the pounds and pence, or dollars and cents, whichever it is for you. So we can click OK on that, and you can see the pound sign then comes into being. The next little column, basically I'm going to designate that as just a straightforward number column, so we can format the cells, and it's already set as a number by default, so we'll just leave it as default and click OK on that. The fourth column I'm going to put in, I'm going to also make that a currency column, which will be again Great British Pounds, and you'll see the reason for that as we progress very shortly. Okay, so that's the basic job done. Let's go through our shopping list. Imagine over the period of time this list could be quite extensive, in as much as everything you've ever bought from a supermarket will be listed in this column. But today we just need to go and say, look, we need one bread, we need a slab of butter, we'll have 2 milks because we're using milk a lot, we want about £1.50 of beef, and it's £1.47 a pound, so we put 1.5 in there. Sugar, we'll have 1 bag of sugar. Lettuce, 1 lettuce, a bag of radishes. No, we'll have 2 cucumbers I think for this week. Have a pack of Weetabix and a box of cornflakes. We'll have 1 chicken, and bear in mind that the chicken weights, if you're doing it this way, that would be a sort of average price, or the price for today. That may need changing on a weekly basis depending on what you buy. Flour, will have a bag of flour, which is generally a kilogram bag. We generally buy a box of eggs, which is 15 eggs. Now it's very tempting to put 15 in there, but that costs £30, so we're not going to do that. We'll just put the 1 box of eggs, and we'll have 1 Marmite. This isn't particularly as clever as I thought it was going to be when I first set it out, because of the variations, a bit boring. So why do we have this this particular column? Okay, so there's this next column is the totals, and the way we do a total in the database is if you type in there a little formula, which is this column equals the sum of open brackets, which will be, let's do B1 star C1, and then close the brackets, and that will give us £1.20, which is fairly straightforward. We could have done that in the head. Same with the butter. We can do equals sum open brackets, this time it's B2 times C2 close brackets. There we go, £1.60. Next one, we get a bit of calculus going there. Equals the sum of open brackets B3 times C3, close brackets, and that again should give us a total at the end of every line. To press return. If you don't, then the next columns that you click will add to that total. So equals, oh dear, equals the sum. I'm trying to do this a little better at this time. The sum of open brackets B4 times C4. Move the cursor to the right and error. Right, I put D4 rather than C4. Okay, that's a simple little thing. You need to check this as you go along. There we go, that's better. Sugar, etc. B 5 times C5, close the brackets, 78p. B6 starred C6, close brackets, and this is the way you carry on all the way down through the this column. This is probably the most time-consuming thing, so I'll edit this bit out and just carry on and get the totals at the end here. Right, and that's the information copied into the various cells there. Okay, so that's straightforward. You could have done most of that in your head. But one of the nice things you can do with having it on a database is you can total the columns, which if we go into, just leave a space just for in case you want to do an addition there, or you can sort of leave a few spaces if you want. What we can do here is the same sort of thing, which equals the sum, open brackets, of D, just highlight the whole lot, like we've done there, and then close the brackets, and that should give us £29.14, which is the total spend. Another simple sum, we have 14 items in our list. If we can do the D equals the sum again, equals the sum of open brackets D D23 divided by, that's just the forward slash, 14, number of items in our list. And we need to make that a number in the formatting of the cells, because it's a stupid number which is unusable. So we just call it a straightforward number, and we'll limit it to 2 decimal places. There we go. And apply that. So that means that the average cost of items on our list is £2.08 each. Could even make that into a currency amount, I think. Format the cells as currency in English pounds. Whoops. And that will give us £2.08 each for each item. So if you're going shopping and you have a little database, you'll know that for each item you pick up and put in your basket, it's going to work out round about £2 an item. And that's all there is really on our simple database. We can do more at a future date, but for the time being, I think that's enough to be going on with. Go and try it at home. The other nice thing you can do with this is you can vary the prices quite simply. And if you want one of them or 2 of them or whatever it is, just change the figure in there. Like this week I only want 1 milk because I had 2 last week, and this amount should change as I come down. So minced beef I won't want any this week because I had it last week. When you click off the thing, Weetabix, well, we don't want any of those either because we had those last week, their last couple of weeks. And so you can go through the shopping list. Right, same with Marmite. We don't want 2 weeks running, do we? Because it costs us a small fortune. So that was left. But you can also add in stuff as well. Remember, when you do add in stuff, you need to extend this sum here, which currently says to D14. If you go up to 19, another 5 items in there. If I can just Don't know if it'll still work. Yeah, we can do that in something like that. Need to make that into currency, obviously. Format the cell. Okay, and that gives us a pound. Right, so this time we need to actually change that to B28 rather than B14. And that's all there is to our simple calculation spreadsheet at the moment. In future weeks we will come back to it and we'll do different sums and different equations that we can use, not necessarily on the shopping list, but on maybe week-to-week budget and that sort of thing. So, hope you've enjoyed this and that you can go home and maybe try it out, try doing the simple calculus. We shall continue on another week or so's time with a little bit more to keep you interested. Thank you for listening. Please remember to click the follow button on YouTube on Howard L. Hall and give me the thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Okay, thank you very much and goodbye for now.